Hi guys, so as you can see today we are going on a little adventure and we're headed to the beach. So I thought this would be a good one to start with and kind of try and figure out a few things with regards to plein air. It's from doing this I can kind of see that it is a whole new you know, even if you kind of know your palette and you know the colors, it's a new experience and it takes kind of a different approach. So it was quite a nice thing to kind of go and try it and see how things go. I think one of the first things to note is that there is a lot more beach footage than painting footage. So I just really ended up spending the time enjoying being there and taking some footage for the video and not as much painting. So I guess, you know, it's a bit of trial and error as well when you have something new that you're thinking about doing. So, you know, there's quite a lot to consider when painting on location and then also painting a new subject. So you can see here from the footage there is the scene when you first pull into the car park, which is what I kind of ended up painting. But then you've also got these close-ups of the waves, and I'd like to paint some of those in the future. So I did break this video into two parts. So the next one we will do one of these kind of shell studies as well. So one of the things is everywhere you look here there is a chance to paint. So, you know, there's little artworks on the beach in the shells. There's, you know, all different horizon, you know, views from the beach that you could paint. And then you're thinking about, you know, do you want to do a literal representation with the colours that you see there replicated, or do you want to add some of your own colours based on, you know, how you felt there, or something else, you know, that you want to indicate? So this is kind of all that I really did here at the beach. So we went back to the car, I sat in the car and did a couple of, basically just a little sketch there. I was using the pencil on the side, which is something I've been enjoying lately. And then you can see here, it's basically the first wash. I didn't know what I was doing. I was pretty nervous. And I guess you lose a bit of your sense of sort of direction, or, you know, just feeling a little bit flustered and not sure even, you know, there's so much that you're taking in, so many sights, so many sounds. How do you hone that into one thing? And then the other part was just, you know, by the time you let the wash dry, you could be, you know, sitting there for 10 minutes. So it was a good exercise. I did learn a lot, and I just sort of spent a couple of minutes in the car there just doing a super quick sketch. It was probably 5 minutes or under, and then sort of trying to decide, should I wait for the you know, painting to dry? But I really wasn't sure. So we just ended up coming home, and then I'll show you, I kind of worked on it a little bit at home. And so even though I was at home when I finished the painting, I did use the travel palette because I want to get used to it and try and work out, you know, how to use it well. So the other thing I'm showing you here is that it does not sit flat. So I had a question about it. It does sort of sit up a little bit. So you've got to put either a pen behind it, or it's designed for you to hold it with the strap for the hands underneath. So yeah, you could put blue tack underneath it as well. Again, this was just for a little palette that I can have a little bit of paint in and take out and kind of paint, so that we could go on some adventures, and also so that when you're there, it is overwhelming, but it's also different. So you see things that you may not see even when you go home. And so you can put those initial washes down or initial sketches down and try and hash out some of what you're seeing there. So as you can see, I am using the travel brush as well, the Da Vinci travel brush. I do have another alternative to show you in the next video. It is more affordable, I think, and really nice. This one is the one that fits in this palette though. And so yeah, I just keep I'm using this, you could see there for the trees, I did the same thing as with the pencil for the sketching. I'm putting it almost to the side, almost parallel to the page, and painting with the paintbrush on the side, not from the tip. And you can see that with this painting I'm putting a lot more color in it than there was at the actual beach in the scene, but it was colorful. It was a really nice day, and this is kind of how it felt. And again, when you're painting a new subject, you're looking at new colors, new shapes, and then kind of how you want to portray that as well. So you can see as I go along here, I add a few different colors to the grass here. So I'm trying to get the movement of the sloping sort of hill without actually just putting a hill there. And then again, I go back in with these leaves, and before they dry I do work on the water. So you can see here that I'm working on the water, and I'm even working it into some of those wet leaves to try and make it blend a little bit and give this sense of transparency to the whole painting. So I haven't even really talked about the colors here. I think a lot of them are self-explanatory from the palette, but you could see for the so here's like a close-up of the rocks. So I've used the hematite and Caput Mortuum for the rocks there, and I think it goes really beautifully. And I also overlaid the French ochre for the sand. I overlaid it with a little bit of hematite mixed with the yellow iron oxide to give the sand a bit more movement and texture as well. And so then one of the things I realized why, I've followed Liz Steele for quite a long time, and I really enjoy her sketches and her taking people on location, and just they really end up with like a really nice experience. But I've never really thought too much about the fact, I know that she always takes a fountain pen with her, at least one, and I've never really thought too much about it. Generally at home I use my dip pen and gold ink to add touches, but that's really not practical for going out. And so what I realized is that the fountain pen becomes indispensable in creating some of those hard lines and layers when you don't want to wait for paint to continually dry and be adding new washes. It's a really good way to, creating some line work is a really good way to add some depth and strength to the painting or, the sketch. So I will be looking into what like inks and what fountain pen I want to take. I think I'll just take that TWSBI, but so you could see here I have put the new iridescent blue silver in, so some of you guessed that right. And there were so many good guesses. It's a pretty tricky color, but I think you don't necessarily need it. You can use indigo and pearl white or indigo and moonstone. But I think it's just a nice one. Like for me, as a convenience mix, I really have been enjoying it, and I'll do some more videos on it later in the week. And then we will get into our festival of colours and we'll do all the swatches. So there'll be another video from this adventure tomorrow, and then we'll do the iridescent blue silver one, and then we'll start the swatches. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.